Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Mark, did you see this story about this guy in Malaysia who stole a $280,000 Porsche by driving it through the window of a dealership showroom? I guess he was inside looking at the car and decided to drive it through the window and escape. He quickly abandoned it because the gas tank was empty, but went to buy a gas can and went to the police station where the car was impounded and stole it again.
That takes guts to do it twice, especially at a police station. No, I did not hear that, by the way. But yeah, that's. I didn't think they kept the keys in, like when the cars are parked inside the dealership. I didn't think they kept the keys in them, but
no,
you know, maybe it's different there.
Wow, he must have wanted that car awfully bad. I'm telling you. You go steal it again at the police station.
That's that takes you know what to do that.
Well, let's talk about the retirement golf course. I know a lot of people love to play golf. I don't personally.
I'm in that same boat.
Yeah, I have. It's always been one of those things that takes so much time, and I've just never seemed to have like 6 hours at a time to go spend on the golf course. But
right, and if you're not good, it's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. And you gotta play it a lot in order to be good. That's for sure. But I was wondering what the game of golf can teach us all about retirement planning, and I know a lot of our listeners out there do play a lot of golf and certainly know a lot more about it than I do. Hitting a hole-in-one has got to be an incredible experience. Never having been there, I don't know exactly what it's like, but I'm just wondering how you, as a financial advisor, can tie that into financial planning.
Sure, and I'm not a golfer either, as I mentioned, but my father's an avid golfer, so I do understand that. But I think hitting a hole in one is kind of like hitting kind of a home run when it comes to your investments. Always trying to get the best return possible, which is almost impossible to do because if you're willing to take that much risk, you're willing to take a lot of loss, which is tough for somebody that's specifically in retirement or even close to retirement. So you've got to be in a more diversified portfolio rather than just trying to get the highest return you can possibly get, which would probably be buying more riskier investments or putting into one stock versus a portfolio of stocks, for example.
I can always also tie it to a baseball player who's a power hitter. I mean, he can hit a lot of home runs, but he's also going to strike out a lot.
Correct. Yeah. So it's what your return and getting a consistent return over time that's going to keep you invested and keep you ahead of inflation, which is a challenge these days, certainly this year. But staying with a diversified portfolio rather than just trying to get the highest rate of return you can possibly get each and every year.
Let's say that you're a golfer and you're on the course and you got lots of clubs in your bag. You can do just about anything based on that collection of clubs you have in your bag. How would you relate that to financial planning?
I would say that's different investments, different asset classes, rather than just putting it all, like we kind of just said, putting it into one stock to try to get the highest return, but more diversified and having a portfolio. So not everything goes up in the same way. So if one thing goes up, maybe another asset class isn't going up and things change. Maybe one does better than the other. And that's the reason why we diversify, is to reduce the overall risk of the portfolio and take advantage of different opportunities by not having all your eggs in one basket, if you will. Yeah. So that's kind of how I would relate that.
Yeah, and I would think, if you went out and tried to play golf and you just had let's say a putter and a driver, you wouldn't be very successful because there are lots of different things that you need, a lot of different shots you need to take, and that's a recipe for disaster. And that's why diversification in your golf bag and in your portfolio is so important.
Exactly right.
Well, also, I think caddies are underestimated as far as their importance are concerned. They can pass along a lot of good tips. They can be helpful in so many ways, but listening to your caddy is important, and I would imagine that in retirement planning, it's important to listen to a good advisor.
Right. And I would relate those to the same. Caddy could be also like a coach, somebody that's watching you and maybe seeing something that maybe you're missing.
Sure.
During your golf game. Same thing is true in this world, and especially this year. Having the right advisor that's going to give you the right advice to make sure you don't do something silly that's going to impact you and your family's financial situation, but making sure that the investments are appropriate and staying the course and invested in the right things and making sure that rebalancing is done on a consistent basis and those sorts of things. But having somebody on your side, a trusted advisor, a thinking partner, lots of these different financial coach, whatever you want to call it, that can guide you through this process, especially, like I said, during times like this. People don't think we're needed as much during up markets because, like I tell my clients, that if the markets went up each and every year, we wouldn't have a job. But clients need us more now, more than ever during these times, and there's been a lot of hand-holding we've had with our clients and, having discussions on what's going on and what we should be doing and that sort of thing, given the downturn in both the stock and bond market, which is unique, which we haven't really seen in a long time.
I would imagine that it's more important than ever to have a financial advisor because of this inflationary economy we have and just all the things going on right now. It's important for folks to give you a call and arrange to have a conversation about their individual situation. And Mark, what kind of things are you going to talk about?
Sure.
Get together?
Sure, and I think that makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, the number of calls that we've received in the last couple months from DIYers, do-it-yourself investors who have never worked with an advisor has definitely increased, which I think kind of speaks to what you just said, Ron. But, the first step is just to reach out. You're going to call that number or text that number, which you'll give out in a second. It'll get you on my calendar to speak to me for 15 to 20 minutes on a phone call. That's how we start all the relationships. I'll answer any questions that you may have. Be happy to talk about our process, that sort of thing. And then we can determine if it makes sense to have you come into the office for a meeting. But nothing happens until you first reach out. And like I said, I try to help everybody that we can. Doesn't mean that you're a good fit for our practice, but I will try to give you some advice and point you in the right direction if you're not a good fit. But, looking forward to hearing from anybody that has an interest or maybe needs some help, especially during these difficult times we have in the financial markets. But it will get better, I can tell you that.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.